Resort fees hit $50 a night. Mid-range hotel prices have jumped 20% since 2020. And parking can cost up to $45 a day, while visitor numbers keep falling. Behind the lights, longtime workers reveal how service cuts, endless construction, and corporate cost-cutting are turning an iconic destination into a joyless expense. The question isn't just where the crowds went, but whether Vegas can survive without the people who built its legend. Here's where the real story of the Strip's decline begins. Reason 9. Skyrocketing costs are squeezing the life out of the Las Vegas experience. Picture Bob and Carol, a married couple from Ohio, celebrating their 30th anniversary with a trip to the Strip. Their mid-tier hotel advertised rooms at $199 a night, but the bill at checkout told a different story. Resort fees added $50 per night, parking was $45 a day, and a pair of cocktails at the lounge came to $60 with tax and tip. By the end of their 3-night stay, their lodging bill alone had ballooned to nearly $900, before a single dollar went toward food, shows, or the slots. This is not an isolated case. Since 2020, the average price for a mid-range room on the Strip has jumped 20%, now hovering around $250 a night. Resort fees, once a minor line item, have become a major expense, climbing from $25 to $50 or more in just a few years. Parking, which was free for decades, now runs $15 to $45 per day depending on the property. Even basic amenities have become premium charges. A bottle of water in a hotel shop can cost $8, while breakfast for two at a casual cafe easily tops $50. Dinner at a steakhouse? Expect a bill that rivals New York City. For couples like Bob and Carol, who once came to Vegas for affordable fun, these hidden costs add up fast. According to a 2025 UNLV report, overall visitation has dropped 6.5% year over year, with the steepest declines among retirees and middle-class families. The city's old reputation as a value destination is fading. Guests now face a financial gauntlet before they ever set foot in a casino. Fees for early check-in, fees for Wi-Fi, fees for using the gym. The nickel and diming does not stop at the hotel door. Show tickets, long a hallmark of the Vegas experience, now routinely start at $120 for mid-tier acts. The result? More travelers are cutting their trips short, skipping shows, or choosing other destinations entirely. Bob and Carol, once loyal annual visitors, left feeling more frustrated than festive. Their story echoes across social media and travel forums, where complaints about sticker shock and disappearing perks are now the norm. Las Vegas, built on the promise of affordable escape, is now pricing out the very people who made it famous. As costs keep rising, the city is left to reckon with a new reality: fewer guests, shorter stays, and a growing sense that the magic, at least for the average visitor, is slipping away. Reason 8. Service and transit friction is testing the patience of even the most loyal Las Vegas visitors. Picture a rideshare driver named Carla, who has spent 12 years weaving through the Strip's maze. She remembers when a trip from the airport to mid-strip took just 15 minutes and guests arrived relaxed, ready to tip and chat. Now, she says, it's 35 minutes minimum, and half my passengers are already frustrated before they even check in. Traffic congestion has spiked 18% since 2021, according to city transit data. Construction barriers, lane closures, and rerouted walkways stretch travel times and leave visitors stranded in rideshare pickup zones for up to 40 minutes on busy weekends. Carla's dashboard tells the story: more short hops, more cancellations, and fewer tips. People are paying so much just to get here, they're not interested in small talk or tipping. Inside the hotels, the story is no better. Staff cuts have reduced the hospitality workforce by 12% since 2020. That means longer waits at check-in, fewer bellhops, and diminished room service. Guests report cleanliness complaints up 30%, with some rooms sitting untouched for days between guests. A UNLV survey found that only 40% of visitors rated hotel cleanliness as excellent in 2025, down from 68% 5 years ago. Employees feel the strain. Housekeepers now clean 16 rooms per shift, often with no reduction in quota, even as rooms get larger and more complex. One longtime attendant described pushing a 500-pound cart across 3 towers and never seeing a supervisor. We used to have time to chat with guests, make them feel at home. Now it's just rush, rush, rush. The result is a ripple effect. Guests arrive annoyed, staff are stretched thin, and small service failures pile up. The Strip's famous energy has been replaced by a sense of friction. Too many people, too few hands, and a city struggling to keep up with its own promises. For workers like Carla and the housekeepers behind the scenes, the city's cost-cutting measures aren't just numbers. They're daily realities that erode the experience for everyone. The frustration isn't just about money anymore. It's about time lost, connections missed, and a growing sense that Las Vegas is becoming less welcoming with every passing year. Reason 7. The Instagram era has rewritten what it means to visit Las Vegas. Neon signs and spinning reels once drew people in. But now, it is the hunt for the perfect photo that shapes the city's energy. David, a longtime concierge, watches guests sweep through the lobby, phones out, pausing only for a selfie beneath the chandelier or a quick video by the pool. He remembers when visitors would linger, swapping stories with strangers or asking for tips on the best late-night diner. Today, he says, it is all about the shot. People want proof they were here, not a memory of what they did. The numbers back him up. According to recent travel studies, about 60% of under 30 visitors say social media content drives their travel choices. For many, the Strip is less a playground and more a backdrop. Iconic venues like the Mirage Volcano and the original Caesars fountains, once magnets for spontaneous crowds, have been demolished or remodeled, replaced by sleek, generic spaces built for influencer moments. In 2024, Nevada was ranked the most selfie-driven state in the country, with Las Vegas at the epicenter. This new wave of tourism has changed the city's rhythm. Where blackjack tables once buzzed with laughter, now you will find clusters of friends perfecting their TikTok dance or lining up for a photo in front of a branded mural. Casinos report visitors are gambling in fewer venues than ever before, dropping from nearly 7 casinos per trip a decade ago to fewer than 4 today. Instead of exploring, many guests stick to a single property, often the one with the most Instagrammable lobby or rooftop bar. David sees the fallout in quieter ways too. Fewer guests strike up conversations with staff or fellow travelers. The city's old sense of camaraderie, nights spent swapping stories over cheap shrimp cocktails, has faded, replaced by a focus on curating the perfect online persona. Vegas used to be about the people you met, he reflects. Now, it is about the likes you collect. The city's identity, once built on shared experience, now bends toward the lens. For workers like David, the change is not just visual, it is emotional. The warmth that made Vegas famous is harder to find, and the Strip feels less like a community and more like a stage. As photo-first tourism takes over, the city's soul slips further from reach. Reason 6. The unraveling of camaraderie on the Strip is changing the very core of Las Vegas hospitality. David, a concierge with 2 decades of experience, remembers when guests and staff shared easy banter and a sense of mutual respect. Those days feel distant. Now he watches guests hurry past, eyes on their phones, tipping less, expecting more, and often treating workers like background noise rather than partners in their vacation. The numbers back up what David and his colleagues feel every day. Tipping among service staff has plummeted, down by as much as 50% since the pandemic. One cocktail waitress at a mid-tier casino recounts averaging 80 cents per drink just a few years ago. Today, she brings in barely 10 cents. Another server, who once counted on $300 to $500 in tips per day, recently walked out with $124 after a full shift. These are not isolated stories. Across the Strip, bartenders, bellmen, and housekeepers echo the same refrain: more work, less appreciation, and shrinking pay for the same effort. The atmosphere is not just colder, it is tenser. Security incident reports show a 12.9% citywide rise in reported crimes over the past year, with violent incidents up 9.1%. While the Strip's own statistics show some categories down, frontline staff describe a different reality. They talk about guests who lash out over wait times, refuse to pay resort fees, or take frustrations out on whoever is closest. A recent survey found nearly 3 out of 5 cocktail servers have faced harassment or felt unsafe on the job. For many, the job now means bracing for confrontation as much as welcoming guests. Tips are not just a bonus, they are a lifeline. With costs rising and base pay stagnant, every dollar counts. As gratuities vanish, workers are forced into side gigs or extra shifts, chasing the income they once made in half the hours. David points out that the ripple reaches far beyond the casino floor. When guests stop tipping, morale drops, staff turnover rises, and the sense of shared purpose that once defined Vegas hospitality falls apart. The Strip's famous friendliness is fading, replaced by a transactional chill that leaves both workers and visitors feeling shortchanged. This erosion of trust and goodwill is not just about money. It is about the loss of connection. The small moments that once made Las Vegas feel welcoming, even magical. For the people who keep the city running, it is a daily reminder that the old Vegas, built on camaraderie and mutual respect, is slipping further away with every unreturned smile and every empty tip jar. Reason 5. The house advantage has never been more obvious or more discouraging for casual gamblers on the Strip. Step up to a modern slot machine and you will find the odds have quietly shifted. A decade ago, most machines offered a return to player, or RTP, of 92 to 95%. Today, many Strip casinos have dialed that number down to as low as 85%. For the average visitor, that means shorter play, fewer wins, and a bankroll that disappears faster than ever. Take the perspective of a slot technician who has been maintaining machines for 15 years. He remembers when regulars could count on small wins stretching their $20 bills for hours. Now, he spends his days updating firmware and adjusting payout percentages to meet new corporate targets. It is all about revenue per square foot, he explains. If a machine does not hit its numbers, we tighten it. There is no room for nostalgia. The numbers back him up. In 2024, multi-denomination slots, now the most common on the floor, generated over $7 billion in revenue, up nearly 20% from the previous year. But that windfall did not come from more winners. It came from machines programmed to pay out less, more often. The technician points to the shift. Bonus rounds and flashy graphics keep people playing, but the base game is stingier than ever. Most folks do not realize how much faster they are losing. This is not just about luck. It is a deliberate strategy. Strip casinos have moved away from the generous odds that once built loyalty among everyday players. Instead, the focus is on maximizing every spin, every minute, every dollar. For the casual gambler hoping for a little excitement, the thrill fades quickly. The sense of possibility that made Vegas special is being replaced by a cold calculation, one that leaves many visitors wondering if the game is still worth playing. Reason 4. The human cost of cost-cutting is written across the faces of Las Vegas's burned-out staff. In the heart of a strip hotel, Maria, a housekeeper with 12 years on the job, starts her day with a cart loaded for 16 rooms. Her daily quota, unchanged even as rooms grow larger and more complex. Each shift, she pushes a 500-pound cart through endless hallways, racing against the clock with just 30 minutes per room. There's no time for small talk, no chance to check in on guests or linger over details. Maria's story is echoed by hundreds of guest room attendants surveyed across the Strip. 95% say their quotas haven't budged, even as they cover more ground and clean rooms that sit untouched for days. Nearly 9 in 10 report pain or injury from the work, and over half have seen a doctor for job-related strain. The numbers are stark. Only a third of hospitality workers feel engaged with their jobs, and 47% report not having enough work-life balance. For Maria and her colleagues, the job has become a grind. Mandatory overtime, missed family events, and a sense that no matter how hard they work, it's never enough. Satisfaction among Las Vegas housekeepers has plummeted, down 25% in recent years, with over half now describing themselves as dissatisfied or disengaged. Many take on second or even third jobs just to keep up with rising living costs, while tip income has become unpredictable as fewer guests leave anything behind. The physical and emotional toll is heavy. 43% of attendants have missed family time due to overtime, and 88% report daily pain. As staff morale erodes, the personal touch that once defined the Vegas experience disappears. Rushed service and exhausted workers are now the norm, leaving guests with less attention and fewer reasons to return. Behind the polished facades, it's clear that the city's relentless drive for efficiency is coming at a steep human price. Reason 3. Corporate consolidation has redrawn the map of the Las Vegas Strip. Today, just 2 conglomerates, MGM Resorts and Caesars Entertainment, control about 70% of the hotels and casinos on Las Vegas Boulevard. This is not just about big names swapping neon signs. The financial structure has shifted too, with real estate investment trusts like Vici Properties owning the land beneath the casinos, leasing it back to operators focused on short-term profits. Dr. Vance, an analyst at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Center for Business and Economic Research, points out that this kind of concentration gives companies unprecedented power over pricing and perks. The result? Comps, the free rooms, meals, and shows that once lured average gamblers are now reserved almost exclusively for the top 5% of spenders. For most guests, loyalty programs offer little more than a discount code. The old model, where frequent visitors could count on a free buffet or a comped night just for playing the slots, has all but vanished. Instead, the Strip's major players have aligned their strategies, steadily raising resort fees, tightening slot payouts, and eliminating the small gestures that once made guests feel valued. As Dr. Vance notes, When you remove competition, you remove the incentive to surprise and delight. For the everyday visitor, the Strip now feels less like a playground and more like a gated enclave, designed for whales and high rollers, not for the middle-class regulars who built its legend. Reason 1. Las Vegas has lost the very people who once filled its rooms, lined its buffets, and packed its shows. For decades, middle-class Americans made up nearly 70% of the city's visitors. Retirees on a bus trip, couples like Bob and Carol celebrating milestones, friends escaping winter for a little sun and luck. Today, that crowd is missing. Bob and Carol's verdict is blunt. Vegas isn't for us anymore. After 30 years of annual trips, they've stopped coming. Their story is echoed across travel boards and reunion groups. The numbers tell the same tale. In the early 2000s, the Strip buzzed with affordable energy, room rates, meals, and entertainment priced so regular folks could stay a week and feel like a star. Now, the city's marketing targets high rollers and influencer crowds, while the middle-income guests who once filled 7 out of every 10 hotel rooms are choosing alternatives: Laughlin, tribal casinos, even cruises. The Strip's new reality is clear: velvet ropes, bottle service, and loyalty perks reserved for the top spenders. The sense of welcome that once defined Las Vegas is gone. For Bob and Carol, and millions like them, the city built on inclusion has closed its doors. The foundation is gone, and with it, the spirit that made Las Vegas more than just a place to gamble. It made it a place to belong. In 2025, Las Vegas saw visitation drop by 6.5%, while average room rates climbed over 20% since 2020, and resort fees often surpassed $50 a night. The city once relied on middle-class visitors, who made up 70% of its guest base, but now caters mostly to high spenders and social media-driven tourists. Corporate ownership of 70% of Strip properties has led to tighter slot payouts, now averaging just 85% return, and fewer perks for everyday guests. Staff cuts and a 25% drop in hospitality job satisfaction reflect this shift. Yet, some questions remain. What new strategies, if any, will casino owners adopt to address declining repeat business? How long will workers absorb increasing pressure? The evidence shows a city transformed by profit-driven choices, with fewer rewards and rising barriers for ordinary travelers. For now, Las Vegas stands as a case study in what happens when short-term gains eclipse lasting value and loyalty.